Ya kuya na tak unom ilagaw suci huinga yutinagaw ko nunagaw yak miungulosyo. Wani ko gagawikan ka jiulaput makut kan reskyuki samyosyo. Ata kakang rilhuk talislu jiuli kakhuluni. My Yupik name is Arevgaq, and I am humbled to be here with you this morning. Kuya Natailuji, thank you for coming. And I am a daughter of late Chief Paul John, and I would like to acknowledge the ancestral spirit of this land, the people of this land, for allowing us to be here. And so I am going to start off with a powerful healing song to heal this space, to heal this room, and to talk through me so that the knowledge of our Indigenous people and the Creator comes through my words, through the power of my word. And so I will sing the song first, and I will start the presentation. This song was revitalized in 1970s. It's called Tarabagna Ramkan. It's a powerful purification song. It is our tradition to purify the space, to purify our mind, to purify our words before we present. So very, very old, Tarabagna Ramkan. Tarabagna Ramkan, I hear Tarabagna Ramkan, I hear Sugar na Ramkan, Bikani Kanna, Kapsala, I would like to invite everyone to stand up. And I want you to reach your arms up and go like this. This is how we show purification motion, to purify the space, to purify our mind, to purify our soul. And in this song, because we have a rule to use right arm first, we're going to have our right arm up and then purify the space like this, up, back and forth, and then left side, right, left. Oh yeah, now you may sit down. Thank you very much. And so I am going to talk about our ways of dance and their meaning. I also co-authored a book similar to that topic. It's called Yupik Ways of Dancing, and you can find it online. A lot of the content of this was from my dissertation, as well as my work along with the elders and the experts in the meaning of dance. But before I leave, I would like to thank the people that spoke before me. I can relate to a lot of things, especially the last one, when they used, the Indigenous language was used. It is very critical in our culture to hold on to that language, because language is our power. My father, late Paul John, would say that we have to, we have to sustain and maintain that because through our language is where our knowledge comes from, our indigenous knowledge system and all the contents of that. So you can see the map here. Oops. That revealed the 5 ethnic groups in Alaska. The light blue shade is Inuit people, the Inupiaq people that are related to the Yupik people linguistically. I am from the dark blue shade. It's called Yupik people. And then the red are the Athabascan interior, and in Southeast Alaska, there's Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian. And to the left panhandle are Sukpiat, Alutid, and Unangan. And the Yupik is the strongest language group in Alaska. So there's the Yupik word for that song we just sang, Tagabakayarak. It's an ancient purification song that talks about purifying the people, the men, the women, the physical illnesses of the people, and the psychological illness. And in our tradition, we had what we call angashkut, the shamans. My great-grandfathers on both sides were shaman. And they traveled through space and they traveled through time. And that is who we are. I am the primary source of what we're talking about because I was born and raised in the community, speaking Yuchtun and having direct contact and communication with the shamans, with the elders, with the parents and grandparents. And so we are very fortunate, even though the dancing was banished when my mother was born in 1930s, it was already gone. But by the time I was born in 50s, the people revitalized it. So we are very, very fortunate that we are able to sustain and maintain these compositions that were composed since time immemorial. And this is the quote from my father, late father. We need to keep practice and maintain way of life because of the way it was in the beginning. Creator prepared everything for ethnic groups like a tablecloth. There was miscommunication and misunderstanding among the people. The priests took a tablecloth and shoved it away and replaced it with their own non-native religion. And people like my father and all the elders that witnessed that, they make statements that it was very hurtful when they started burning our drums, burning our regalia, because they tell us we were satanic and paganistic, because they could not understand the power of the shaman and the healing and the travel that our people conducted. They traveled because we believe in a holistic worldview. We can talk and interact with the spirit animals. We can talk and interact with the spirit world of the sun, the moon. Our people have songs about the moon because we've been there thousands of times. We didn't have to pay millions and trillions of dollars to go to the moon. We know this because it's articulated in our oral stories. We know this because they belong to our family tree. We know this to be true because they are our people. My great-grandparents, they were able to travel to the land of the animals, to ask for the food we need, to ask for the power of wellness community in the community. And when you come from society like this, you have to honor and respect the experts that have gone to the moon. My great-grandfather traveled through time to the future and came back. You know what they had to do? They had to kill themselves first. Now, how did they do that? They were gifted by the Creator. The Creator empowered us to be able to have wellness in mind, body, and soul, because the Creator provided all these services within the community framework. So did they have to go get their doctorate degrees? No. They were gifted naturally. They were engineers to the depth of what we understand engineers to be, scientists. And everything that embody the holisticness of a human body. The elders, they were experts of everything. They were doctors of psychology, philosophy, engineering, biology. But they were not proud people. They lived simple life. They dressed the simplest in fur clothes like what I'm wearing. They did not identify them, say, I did this, I claimed this, I said this. No, that's not Indigenous way. Our Indigenous way is holistic. We know this. We come from this culture. We talk about it this way. And so that's a different methodology from Western way of speaking. And so I will talk about these later on, the similarities and differences in the ceremonies. I am going to talk about the village of Tuksuk Bay and Bethel, Alaska. The Tuksuk Bay celebration and Bethel celebration, both are conducted for 3 days. But and these concepts of cultural resiliency, sovereignty, spirituality, leadership, collaboration, decolonization, organization structures are interchangeable. They're like connected to each other. And because they're connected to each other, we can talk about them in a way that they're related in a Yuktun way. And it is important to understand, how do Native people construct, Yupik people construct their language?
What?
Okay, so.
No.
So Yupik worldview, what does that mean? Construction of Yuktun knowledge system. It is very important that we honor our young people. Our young people are regarded to be gifts from the Creator. They're the wealth. A person without children is not wealthy at all. That's the difference between Western and Indigenous knowledge system. And so because of that, we want to ensure that we build healthy psychological, social, and pedagogical skills for all the young people. And those are conducted through kulirat, kanamjit, and kanruyutit. These two first, the kulirat and kanamjit. Kulirat, these are oral narratives. We come from oral culture. So kulirat are the stories from when the crust of the earth was very thin. What does that mean? Samamgitshani. Samamgitshani. The animals and human can become one. I can become half human and half animal. And we can talk to each other. Samamgitshani. That was the time when the earth was created. That was the time when the natural resources were created. That was the time when people can travel through space. We call those Slat-Dulit. Slat-Dulit, like my great-grandparents, they can travel through space and go to New York and to Europe and come back and talk about them. Before any electricity came, when I was born, we only used wood stove. There were no hospitals, no doctors, no nurses, no roads. We had doc team. It was a beautiful life. We wore natural products and we had organic food from the land. Organic every day. The men go out, get the fish, get the seal oil, get the meat, and everyone worked together. Men had roles, women had roles. but without the other one, it would be imbalanced. So how do we know what to do? How do we know who we are? And how do we conduct that form of life so we have a balanced, healthy community? So what it means is that we heard all the cultural values and principles every single day from the grandparents, from the prominent elders, all in Yuchtun. I learned to speak when I was 5th grade in English. I'm a bilingual person, but I really respect my Indigenous language, Indigenous identity, Indigenous life, Indigenous way of thinking, way of believing, way of sharing, because that's what our ancestors want us to hang on to and hold on to and be proud of. Every day we heard kulirat and kanamjit stories in the morning, lunch hour, dinner time. Stories about how the raven created the land. Stories about grandmother and grandchild who lived at the end of the river during famine when there was no food. My grandmother, she had to save 2 people that were skin and bones because there was no food. Before the federal school systems were initiated, implemented, we lived a nomadic life. I'm not that old, I'm in my 60s. But because we live in such a remote area in Alaska with no gold, no mining, people bypassed us. They went up to Nome and they went to Fairbanks. We were very lucky. People say we're poor, but we're not poor. We're culturally rich, we're resilient. We can tell stories, we can make crafts like this. And we are very, very lucky to have grandparents that did not throw away the songs and music when they were called satanic and paganistic, for being able to heal other people, for being able to practice ceremonies that allow them to connect. Connections are very powerful. They are very critical. To connect with the spirit world of the nature of this world, with the spirit world of the cosmology. We truly believe that we are one. We truly believe that we are all connected with the spirit of the animals and with the spirit of cosmology. We are grounded. We have this foundation. We cannot live in a separate world. We cannot think, oh, I'm a biologist, I can't think about psychology over there, or I can't think about ecologists. In Indigenous worldview, we believe in holistic, not in linear form. So in my research, I identified the forms of dance. How do we make songs? So this is the form that our ancestors followed. And it's a form where it says Avinra in the beginning. I translated them on the right side, chorus, 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 first verse, chorus, and then what I call the section where there's no drumming and singing. That's an area where you can understand and reveal the additional context to the music. And the most important parts of the song structure are the verses. I remember watching these elders drumming and singing on the floor, and then when the verses are going to be brought up and sung, and they put their hands on their ears and they go like this. Because the messages are in the verse. The chorus, you can repeat it over and over again. And our songs, we have lost a lot. When I did my PhD work, I identified 20 different ceremonies. And out of 20 different ceremonies, there is this one ceremony called Messenger Festival. And out of the 5 different elements of Messenger Festival, we're only saving that one part called geoplated. So the dances that we see today are all geoplated. So can you imagine, after coming from a very, very wealthy, rich society, we have lost 19 dance ceremonies that were conducted the whole year, mainly in the wintertime, because summertime we're busy harvesting salmon and food, marine mammal, natural resources, drying and processing. So in wintertime, we have a little bit more time. It's darker, it's minus 40 degrees outside. In summertime, we have about 50-degree average temperature. And so in wintertime, that is the time when everyone gathered together to rehearse new songs. So when you think about 20 ceremonies, probably 50 compositions per ceremony, that's a lot of music. That's a lot of music. In Gvriak alone, you count the participants. If there's 50 participants, that means you need 50 new songs. That's a lot of thinking and composing, right? Every year, 50 times 50 times 50 of 20 years. But what happens to those songs when they're not recorded? They disappear. And the songs are critical, very, very critical. Just a man dancing. So within that framework, I think I skipped a section here. But anyhow, so in the village, when they dance, they remember all these things, how we learn, how we think, how we're supposed to live. In a matter of, oh, I lost my thought of frame. But anyhow, so 3 days in Bethel at Jamai Festival, 3 days in Tuksuk. The village framework is holistic. It's in Yuhtun language. It's conducted by Yupik leaders of the tribe, of the corporate and municipal. And they select the dancers, they select theme. And in the Bethel Jamai dance ceremony, look at their schedule. It's very hectic, it's linear, it's organized by non-native people with volunteers of native people, and they have performers from all over the world. And they're only allotted 20 minutes on the stage. People are stressed. The performers are stressed and confused because they're rushed through the stage. Like, hurry, hurry, hurry. You have 2 minutes, hurry, hurry, hurry. Get off the stage now. You know, it's like there's no meaning to their songs. Whereas in a native way, you give them all the time. You invite 5 dance groups to perform for 5 days. They invite 20 dance groups to perform for 3 days. So you're just like rushing, rushing, rushing. And organizers, they don't know and understand that it is important to provide meaning, connection, relatedness on stage. So to me and to the people I spoke with, like yesterday I talked to Golga, who's a student down here from Alaska. He said that Jamai Festival is so different. He preferred to go to the village festival. In a village festival, it's more meaningful. You hear old stories. And in Bethel, it's rush. They have concessions and they have people selling crafts along the way at the same time. It's like chaotic, it's crazy. So at the end, they all reveal cultural resiliency in some context, right? As far as decolonization, every culture is acculturated. We're colonized in the beginning, but now we're very proud to say we are reclaiming who we are. we are reclaiming more of our songs and dances, our language, our food, our way of behaving, looking. And so, you know, I was involved in both groups. I started Jamai Festival, and every year I still conduct online on a planning group for the village. And, you know, when I have heard the elders say, I'd rather not be in Jamai, I don't think I'll go back, because it doesn't mean anything to me. It's meaningless. It's too chaotic, and it's too Western. The initial idea was to bring the native people into larger hub community, but it has the vision and the mission has transformed because it's conducted by the Arts Council, who are mainly university faculty and you know, people that don't speak Yuhtun, but have vision for multi you know, cultural presentation, which is fine. I mean, that's how society works. But the more meaningful and stronger and rich festivities are in villages, and every village coordinate together. They call on the phone or on VHF, when are you going to have dance? So they collaborate and coordinate everything according to the plans of other villages. I know I'm out of time. Time goes by so fast. And then here it.
3 more days, I give it to you.
And so I will stop at this point and open the